Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Chandra Balava Girivaradhari Gopi Chandra Balava Girivaradhari Yashoda Nandana Prajajana Ranjana Yashoda Nandana Prajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Chandra Balava Girivaradhari Yashoda Nandana Prajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we're reading from Srimad-bhagavatam Canto 9, chapter 19, verses 18 and 19. Chapter is called King Yayati Achieves Liberation. And we'll chant the Sanskrit. Purnang Varsha Sahasrang Me Vishyayan Sevato Sakrit Tatapi Chanusavanam Krishna Sheshu Pajayate Purnang Varsha Sahasrang Me Vishyayan Sevato Sakrit Tatapi Chanusavanam Krishna Sheshu Pajayate Purnang Varsha Sahasrang Me Vishyayan Sevato Sakrit Tatapi Chanusavanam Krishna Sheshu Pajayate Purnang Varsha Sahasrang Me Vishyayan Sevato Sakrit Tatapi Chanusavanam Krishna Sheshu Pujayate Purnam Varsha Sahasrang Me Vishyayan Sevato Sakrit Tatapi Chanusavanam Krishna Sheshu Pujayate. Anyone else? Purnang Varsha Sahasrang Me Vishyayan Sevato Sakrit Tatapi Chanusavanam Krishna Sheshu Pujayate. Purnang Varsha Sahasrang Me Vishyayan Sevato Sakrit Tatapi Chanusavanam Krishna Sheshu Pujayate. Word for word synonyms. Purnam, completely. Varsha Sahasram, 1,000 years. May, my, Vishayan, sense gratification. Sevataha, enjoying. Asakrit, without cessation, continuously. Tata api, still. Cha, indeed. Anusavanam, more and more. Krishna, lusty desires. teshu, in sense gratification. Upajayate, or increased. Still King Yayati speaking to his wife as a conclusion of his story about the goats, the he goat and the she goat. So he says, I have spent a full 1,000 years enjoying sense gratification, yet my desire to enjoy such pleasure increases daily. Repeat after me. I have spent a full 1,000 years enjoying sense gratification, yet my desire to enjoy such pleasure increases daily. Imagine. Purport. Maharaj Yayati is explaining in terms of his actual experience how strong are sexual desires even in old age. Imagine, I don't know what age this was in. Must have been at least Satyuga or Treta Yuga. Satyuga people lived 100,000 years. Treta Yuga they lived for 10,000 years. So he spent a full 1,000 years enjoying sense gratification in this way, and he's still not satisfied. Okay. So let's go into verse 19, which has a larger purport. Therefore, I shall now give up all these desires and meditate upon the Supreme Personality of Godhead, free from the dualities of mental concoction and free from false prestige. I shall wander in the forest with the animals. Srila Prabhupada's purport. To go to the forest and live there with the animals, meditating upon the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is the only means by which to give up lusty desires. Unless one gives up such desires, one's mind cannot be freed from material contamination. Therefore, if one is at all interested in becoming free from the bondage of repeated birth, death, old age, and disease, after a certain age, one must go to the forest. Pancha Shordvam Vanam Vrajet. After 50 years of age, one should voluntarily give up family life and go to the forest. The best forest is Vrindavan, where one need not live with the animals, but can associate with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who never leaves Vrindavan. Cultivating Krishna consciousness in Vrindavan is the best means of being liberated from material bondage. For in Vrindavan, one can automatically meditate upon Krishna. Vrindavan has many temples, and in one or more of these temples, one may see the form of the Supreme Lord as Radha Krishna or Krishna Balaram and meditate upon this form. As expressed here by the words Brahmanyadhyaya, one should concentrate one's mind upon the Supreme Lord, Para-Brahman. This Para-Brahman is Krishna, as confirmed by Arjuna in Bhagavad Gita. Parang Brahma, Parang Dhamma, Pavitram, Paramang Pavam. Krishna and his abode, Vrindavan, are not different. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Aradhyo Bhagavan Brajesha Tanayas Tad Dhamma Vrindavanam. Vrindavan is as good as Krishna. Therefore, if one somehow or other gets the opportunity to live in Vrindavan, and if one is not a pretender, but simply lives in Vrindavan and concentrates his mind on Krishna, one is liberated from material bondage. One's mind is not purified, however. Even in Vrindavan, if one is agitated by lusty desires. One should not live in Vrindavan and commit offenses, for a life of offenses in Vrindavan is no better than the lives of the monkeys and hogs there. Many monkeys and hogs live in Vrindavan, and they are concerned with their sexual desires. Men who have gone to Vrindavan but who still hanker for sex should immediately leave Vrindavan and stop their grievous offenses at the lotus feet of the Lord. There are many misguided men who live in Vrindavan to satisfy their sexual desires, but they are certainly no better than the monkeys and the hogs. Those who are under the control of Maya, and specifically under the control of lusty desires, are called Maya Mriga. Indeed, everyone in the conditioned stage of material life is a Maya Mriga. It says, Maya Mriga Dayat Eshpritam Anvadavat. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took sannyas to show his causeless mercy to the Maya Mrigas, the people of the material world, who suffer because of lusty desires. One should follow the principles of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and always think of Krishna in full Krishna consciousness. Then one will be eligible to live in Vrindavan and his life will be successful. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Ganatana Sarakaya Chakshur Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. So King Yayati, he spent imagine 1,000 years with good body, not Kali Yuga body, but good body, and enjoying sense gratification, sexual relationships constantly for 1,000 years. And at the end of that 1,000 years, what's he saying? That I enjoyed like this for 1,000 years, but now my desire for these things is increasing more and more. Every day it's increasing. I cannot get rid of the desire by simply enjoying it. So he apparently had previously been a pious king, but he became entangled in that way. So now towards maybe the end of his life, or it was after 1,000 years of his life, he's finally realized, hey, I've wasted a lot of time in this way. So he's finally concluded that, okay, now I've decided to renounce everything, go to the forest, live with the animals, and simply meditate on the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And of course, in Vedic times, there were actually forests. Actual forests with wild animals. Now, even if you wanted to go to a forest like that, you may have a hard time. But Srila Prabhupada says you don't actually have to go to a forest in the sense of a forest with wild animals. The best forest is Vrindavan forest. There are many forests. Vrindavan is one of them. And it's not full of wild animals. Well, some wild animals, monkeys, dogs, hogs. They're running everywhere in Vrindavan, but they're not wild animals that will cause you, will kill you like that, like in the past. So Srila Prabhupada encourages that one should practice Krishna consciousness. If you want to become free from desire for material enjoyment, you have to practice Krishna consciousness. You have to. And if you can go, and he said once, if you go to Vrindavan, you stay for 3 days or for 3 years. You stay for a short time and try to avoid offenses there, or you stay for some period of time. But that was his recommendation. But of course, not everyone can go and live and stay in Vrindavan, even though we have nice temples there, and there are many devotees there, and many devotees visit. But not everyone can stay there all the time. It's not practical for most of us. But if we were living in a temple or coming to our temple regularly in some other part of the world, it's the same principle as there. You simply, if you come to the temples, even our Hare Krishna temples in the Western world, in the middle of the material atmosphere here, these are like oases. Oasis means like in a desert. You have dry sand, dry hot heat, but somewhere there's some water. A little oasis is called. And so so our temples are like an oasis for the people in general. And you see a lot of times people come. Not people don't come every day necessarily, like Srila Prabhupada was recommending. You should go every day and see Krishna every day. But sometimes when there's difficulty, sometimes when somebody has some death in the family or some kind of problem, and if they have a little pious result and benefit in their life, then they'll come to a temple, or come to a church, and they'll pray to God to please help me through this situation. This is natural. And of course, the world's getting a little more and more crazy, as we can all see. So more and more people will want to come and seek out some pleasure. So this is a very important, responsibility for those who are on the path of Krishna consciousness presently. Not everyone will come and live in a temple or dedicate their whole life to this path yet. But many people will come and visit. So it means that those who are here and responsible for maintaining the temples, that's a very sacred responsibility to make sure that the temples are open and that are functioning nicely, that the artis are going on, that the prasadam is being cooking for the deities, the prasadam is there, and so on. This is our responsibility. And sometimes we shouldn't think like this, but sometimes we may come to the feeling that like when I first came to the Miami temple, I remember I was out doing a little Sankirtan. Of course, we were all maybe 1 or 2 years in the movement at that point, and the devotees were going up a little bit proud sometimes, go up to people and say, hey people, you don't have any love for God. We love God. We the Hare Krishnas, we love God. But you people don't have any love for God. So now we're going to teach you how to love God. Anyway, it was a little, it wasn't right, because we are also trying to learn to love God in the real sense. And sometimes sometimes we may become a little bit proud thinking that we Hare Krishnas, maybe with the feeling we're better than others outside. But we have to always remember that we are that whatever we are doing, even if we're saying, I'll give an example. Just like someone, maybe one devotee. Well, there was a period here during this COVID time, especially. Sometimes we had no devotees here, so we would have one devotee sometime alone, dressing all the deities in the morning. Okay. So sometimes the devotee who was dressing the deities in the morning could think that, oh, look at me, I've done so much, I've dressed all these deities, especially somebody says, oh, beautiful deities. We dress all the deities, and we think I'm very good. Look what I've done on myself. But no, that's not right. Because, why? Because whatever we do is based on what others are doing or have done. For example, we dress the deities, and we dress the deities. So that the last part of the dressing the deities is just the last part. Put the outfit on, put the garlands on, doing that. But who made and I can say for myself, I'm dressing the deities. I didn't make the outfits, so how am I going to dress the deities if other devotees sewed the outfits, or maybe purchased the outfits somewhere? But they're made. Those outfits were made. I didn't make the flower garlands. I didn't make the jewelry, or provide. I didn't make I didn't build the altar that the deities are on. Right? I didn't. There's so many things that were needed to be done to even get to purchase the temple and maintain the temple. So there's actually so that little service of dressing the deities in the morning. It means there were maybe hundreds of devotees over the years whose services were required so that we could do this service on the altar, dressing the deities. And of course, it's not just for dressing the deities. Any service can be taken in that way. So that's the mentality, and that's why Srila Prabhupada said we need to. He says your love for me will be tested by how well you cooperate with each other in carrying on this mission. That cooperation means that cooperation, that understanding of that cooperation means that we are working together, not just now, but working together over, building up what we had in the beginning till the deities, the temple and the deity worship, and everything becomes bigger and better. So it's all part of the results of cooperating with each other in carrying on the mission of spreading the Krishna consciousness movement. But Srila Prabhupada was saying that, he's speaking about Vrindavan, that is if one lives in Vrindavan, he can concentrate his mind on Krishna, and he can advance very quickly. But if he's living in Vrindavan, he's committing offenses, maybe engaging in illicit sex and different things. And what happens? All those dogs and hogs and monkeys and living entities like that are running around Vrindavan. Why are they there? Because they were previously people who were living in Vrindavan who took birth in those forms because of offenses and sinful activities. So they didn't go back to Godhead immediately. They had to suffer in those animal bodies. But of course, if they after that suffering in those animal bodies, then they could still, because they were previously in Vrindavan, they can go back. They can still go back home, back to Godhead. They say go through the back door in that sense. But you go back. But why go through that? Better to go practice Krishna consciousness, concentrate on becoming fully Krishna conscious, and giving concentrate on giving this knowledge to other people, experience that higher taste, and finish up our business in this lifetime. The human form of life is very short relative to previous ages and relative to higher planets. Right? Our lifetime is very short. Even the demigods in the heavenly planets, they're seeing the Sankirtan movement going on this planet, and of course their lifespan is very long. But they're thinking, when will I get a chance to take birth in the Sankirtan on Earth and become involved in the Sankirtan movement? When will I get that? When I get that opportunity? They get the benefit of the Sankirtan movement. They also get a short lifespan compared to heavenly planets to try to finish up their business and go back to the spiritual world itself, because it's very hard to go to the spiritual world directly from the heavenly planets. There's a lot of opportunity for sense gratification. So it's hard to break that in the heavenly planets. So the Earth planet is special. Earth planet is special. So many ways. Krishna himself, Shilpa was mentioning Vrindavan here. So Krishna himself appeared in Vrindavan. He only appears in his original form. How often?
Once in a day per month.
And how long is that?
4.2 billion.
Yes, 4,320,000,000 years. That's daytime, and then of course Lord Brahma's nighttime also is there, which is the same amount of time. So it's actually 8,600,000,000, whatever it's twice that number of years. So Krishna, he only appears after billions of years. He appears not Kali Yuga, but Dwapara Yuga at the end. He appears like that to perform his pastimes. And then Lord Chaitanya comes immediately after that in the early part of Kali Yuga, relatively early part of Kali Yuga. Lord Chaitanya comes. Both of them only come once every day of Lord Brahma. And somehow or other, that was just this last time. If we took birth in another age, then we might have gone, thousands of ages may have passed by before we got a chance to the Lord Krishna would appear in his original form and Lord Chaitanya would appear. So I don't know what would happen. This happens then, but we were very fortunate that we are here at this time after Lord Chaitanya and Lord Krishna have appeared. We are very fortunate that we have this Earth planet. Earth planet is the middle planet. It's number 7. So 7 planetary systems. So we're on number 7 level. And there's 14 planetary systems, and we're on this number 7 level, right in the middle. Not too hellish, not too heavenly. Sometimes it's nice things, sometimes there's bad things, but we're in the middle. And that's also very important, right? Why is it important? Anyone? Why does it matter if we're in the middle planetary system rather than the other? Anyone? Yes. It's not an over amount of sense gratification, and it's not an over amount of suffering. Hellish planets is very horrible. And the heavenly planet is very nice. But very nice means you become distracted because of sense gratification, and hellish planets means you're suffering in some way. You're just trying to survive, basically, like that. So we're in the middle. So we have that very good opportunity, and then of course we're also very fortunate that we have, of course, Lord Chaitanya. The previous acharyas who were here before Lord Chaitanya, and of course the acharyas, including down to Srila Prabhupada, who is here after Lord Chaitanya. These are all, and some of us have directly had contact with Srila Prabhupada, but anyone can have contact with Srila Prabhupada. We have his books, we have the Veda base, we have so many books that were written by and by Srila Prabhupada and by disciples and followers of Srila Prabhupada. We have so much opportunity. There's no shortage of Krishna conscious knowledge. Plus, Srila Prabhupada, of course, established our temples. There are hundreds of, I don't know how many temples now we have in the world, but there are hundreds of Hare Krishna temples at least, and so that gives more and more opportunity. And Lord Chaitanya already predicted that this movement will be spread to every town and village in the entire world. So there's how much opportunity there is for us to take advantage of becoming Krishna conscious. And if we don't take advantage, maybe our next lifetime we will be in another position where we won't have an opportunity for some time to take advantage. So we should take advantage of this in this time, become Krishna conscious, give Krishna consciousness to others as much as we can, and try to go back home, back to Godhead, and bring as many others with us as we can. Prahlad Maharaj saying, I don't want to go back to the spiritual world without bringing everyone else with me. That was his desire. He said, I can go back to Godhead, but why do I want to go back there with all these other people suffering here? So he wanted to bring like that. Anyway, there's a couple points on this verse. Any questions, comments? Those who are still here.
I've heard that, this is actually from the blog of Canto 4, I think. I remember when I was in Vrindavan, somebody there's a lot of material desires and materialists. For them, it's not meant to stay in Vrindavan for longer than a week. But if somebody is actually serving and is practicing bhakti yoga, for them, you can stay in Vrindavan as long as you want.
Yes, correct. Yeah, because you have many material desires, and you can't control your senses, and you engage in try to satisfy those material desires in Vrindavan, then it's very sinful and offensive. But if you're engaged actually in devotional service for the Lord, and you're in Vrindavan, then you can make very quick spiritual advancement too. It's a fact. It's a fact.
I think it was one of the purports to the Drupal story. That's when you go to Madhuban, which is right outside of Buddha. And Prabhupada said, look, staying in the forest. Rita Ponds, it's another name for forest now. Forest of Rita Ponds is forest.
The forest of Vrinda.
The forest of Rita.
Yes.
Although now there's almost no forest.
Yes, it doesn't look like a forest now, but still it's called Vrindavan. And maybe we have the spiritual vision for those who are very advanced devotees and become, have full realization of Krishna. Krishna is there because Krishna never leaves Vrindavan. So he's still there. He's just not manifest to us who are still conditioned. So Vrindavan is still there, and Krishna is still there, and the gopis are still there, and the rasa dance and everything is still going on there. It's eternal. Vrindavan is actually a spiritual world, but it's externally it's covered for the materialistic people. It's not except for devotees. It's not like a big tourist attraction place, Vrindavan. For spiritual purposes, it's very good, and that covering is there by Krishna's arrangement. So the materialistic people will not be there. Of course, there's still materialistic people that come there, but it helps to keep the most materialistic people out, because it's not very attractive externally.
He's all that people, even 10 years ago in Mathura, they had a slaughterhouse for 11 years, something like that, and they only shut down the governor, the government, that say, was bringing events, I guess, some conscious and he shut it down. But in Mathura, 11, 12 years ago, there was literally were house that they were wandering the streets in the slaughterhouse with like food, kill them.
Very, very, very simple.
Yeah. And you can see people riding out with goats on social media, still sacrifice goats there, even without.
Very, very bad. Very bad. And they'll suffer very heavily for that, especially in Vrindavan. Anywhere, but especially in Vrindavan. So if we want to visit Vrindavan, go there with the purpose of engaging in, chanting Hare Krishna, engaging in other devotional service, but save your sense gratification for somewhere else, like that. Anyone else? Okay, so I think we'll end for today. Tomorrow is Friday. We read Srila Prabhupada Nectar book. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.